Howdy doody, buckaroonies. This is actually a special edition of Morning Coffee with Cameron. Maybe we'll call this like Morning Coffee with Cameron Uncensored, Morning Coffee with Cameron After Dark edition, Morning Coffee with Cameron Pants Off, Hats Off, Morning Coffee with Cameron Dark Roast, Morning Coffee with Cameron Midnight Blend, Morning Coffee with Cameron Saucy Time, Morning Coffee with Cameron 50 Shades of Coffee, Morning Coffee with Cameron Leather and Lace Edition, Morning Coffee with Cameron 2 Electric Boogaloo. And yeah, that's all I can think of offhand. So anyways, I wanted to show you guys kind of a cool trick for chord voicings while not diving too deep into the theory side of things. For whatever reason, during this year's edition of the Hunger Games, I have been listening to a lot more like liquid D&B and ambient and some more like piano-centric cinematic stuff, and I kind of noticed a common thread the other day while I was working on some stuff, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because I think this is actually a really cool trick that's really easy to spice up your chords and make them sound a lot more just awesome. This trick I'm going to show you here today is not only great for things like liquid D&B or ambient music, it's great for making background music. It's a really common thing in like cinematic Hollywood trailer music. It's also a really easy trick for just kind of like wasting time at a keyboard if you're playing background music, maybe during like a church service or something. This same trick really applies to make things sound a lot more spicy and interesting and complex without really needing to think about what you're doing all that much, which I think is pretty cool. With that being said, you will need a basic understanding of some music theory concepts like scales and intervals, but if you have no theory background whatsoever and have no idea about that kind of stuff, you can check out musictheory.net, which is a free online resource with really short, easy lessons that are very digestible and everything's presented in a very nice way that should get you up to speed in only a couple of minutes. If the tips in today's video helped you make something awesome, feel free to share it with me because I'm always really happy to hear what you guys are cooking up. And if you're ready to share your music with the world, why not check out my friends over at DistroKid? DistroKid is only $20 a year for unlimited distribution to all the major retailers in the known universe. It offers a bunch of tools to help you get a verified YouTube artist account. It helps you set up your Spotify profile. It has little meme generators and a whole lot more. I've been using DistroKid myself for pretty much my entire artistic career, and I really like the service. It's super straightforward. You can just drag your song in, upload it, and away you go. You can also check out their hyperfollow tools, which allow you to promote your releases and share all your links in one go. It's just a really awesome service. If you're ready to get your music out to the world today, you can check out my VIP link down in the description, which will save you a couple of bucks, and I get a small kickback as well, so it's a great way to get your music out there and help support the channel. So with all that out of the way, top off your drink, take off your pants, settle in, and let's make some awesome chords. Okay, so let's set the scene here. You sit down at your computer and it's like a sunny day, or a rainy day actually. It's raining outside and it's sad. And the trees are sad, and you're like, oh, those trees are so sad, and I'm gonna make like a really emotional liquid D&B track about the trees or something. And you sit down to plunk out your chords, and it comes out something like this. Then you listen back and say, wow, those chords sound super basic and really boring, and this is dumb, and then scrap the whole project because the whole time you wanted your chords to maybe sound something more like this. Okay, so here we've got that chord progression laid out, and this is in the key of G sharp minor. So if we take a look at these chords, they're pretty boring. They're just straight up triads, and they're not all that exciting, but we can really easily spice up these chords with like 5 seconds worth of work. What we're gonna do is we'll take the third of the note here, and we'll move that up an octave, and then we're gonna add the fifth from that note. So in this case, this is B, so the fifth is gonna be F sharp. Now, if we take a listen back to that chord, we've got something that sounds way more interesting than just this. And this applies for just about anything. Basically, the trick here is you take the third and either move it up an octave or substitute it with a different note. So let's say in this case here, this might sound a bit weird because if we played the fifth away from this, it does work technically. but it's not really in the key of our song, because if we play these two chords together, that clashes a little bit and it doesn't quite sound right. So what we'll do is take just another note in the scale. So this is going to be F sharp and it would be major, but let's maybe add in the E flat here, and then we'll use the fifth away from that. And let's give that a listen. Now that's sounding a bit more spicy, and these two chords now flow together pretty well. And let's do the same thing here. Let's maybe move this one up to an E, and then we'll add in that B again. Cool, now we'll take that progression because it cycles around again, and let's maybe change the notes up a little bit here. So let's take this B and move it up, and then maybe change that to an F sharp, and then get the fifth from that. Let's maybe take this guy and move it up, and then we'll do maybe something a little bit more spicy. So instead of that B, we'll move this fifth pairing down, and then we'll drop that an octave, and we'll get an inversion on that. Now we've got some more complex chord voicings going on here. So it's the same chord progression, just a little bit spicier the second time around. And then let's do a fifth away from that. And then we'll maybe shift that up an octave. And now we've taken a very bland chord progression and we've really got something nice here. And that's really all there is to this trick. Now, why this is so interesting and works so well is because we're staying entirely in the key and we're just working through diatonic chords and just diatonic harmony, stuff that's all within the scale. And we're just kind of almost playing a random fifth on top of our chord. So we're taking our chord and turning it into just a straight fifth, and then we're adding another fifth on top of that. That's a harmony from somewhere else in the scale. Now, you can really start to spice this up by leaving in the original voicing. So let's go back here to what was our G sharp minor. We'll add that B back in here. So let's just take this, move it back down, and let's maybe add in another harmony. So let's take an F sharp, and then we'll bring in the fifth from that. And let's take a listen to that chord. Ooh, smooth. So this is a pretty simple and very effective trick that gives you some very convincing emotive chord progressions without a whole lot of work. And if you listen through a lot of liquid D&B or like piano trailer music or ambient or other things like that where there's very big lush chords, future bass even, this is a really common thing you hear in a lot of it. And when I made this track today while I was sitting around eating lunch, just while I was kind of taking a break, I noticed I did this and I was like, oh, I should totally make a video about this because it's a really easy trick. So this is kind of the final product demonstrated because you can see I've used this exact same trick here. I took a super basic progression in C minor and then used this kind of like fifth harmony thing and turned a really basic progression into a very convincing, if I do say so myself, liquid D&B chord progression. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. I hope this maybe helps you make chords that are a bit more interesting because I think this is a really cool trick that doesn't require a lot of effort and doesn't really require a very deep understanding of theory to make chord voicings that sound a lot more complicated and give you a bit more of that super emotional vibe without, you know, needing to master the art of different chord voicings and stuff. And I think that wraps it up for this one. So thank you for joining me for this kind of random, off-the-cuff, impromptu morning coffee with Cameron after hours edition, after school edition, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I hope you found the video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.